Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host, your friend, your coach. Today, we're kicking off day 2 of the May class for the live profitable podcast launch challenge for the UK, Europe, and Asia. So, beautiful group here, beautiful ladies, and we're gonna get started. So, let me start sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. Do you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Princess, were you able to catch a replay from day 1?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
I haven't been able to.
All right. So what I will do to start with, first of all, I'll get each of you guys to give to 30 seconds, give a brief intro. What do you do and why you want to launch your podcast now? And what do you want to get out of this week here? So starting with you, Princess, putting you on the spot right away.
Okay, I have actually started my podcast, but
Wow.
what I realized I've yeah, I have a few episodes up there. But the reason why I stopped in the middle of it, I have more information. I was doing this interview series with a purpose expert because my thing is to help Christian women
Mm,
who are in the corporate spaces come out and start living God's purpose instead of
love that.
chasing corporate dreams. So I am helping them to transition over into their purpose because the reason I'm so passionate about purpose, it took a long time for me to get mine. I was
Mm,
told to go to school, get good grades, go to university, get good grades, and get a job, and I'll be prosperous. Now that's a very broken and flawed formula. It doesn't work. It will keep you on the broke system. And then when I could understand how is it I was so educated and still I'm not making the money I should make. I'm not advancing the way I should. And I realized that advancement and all these beautiful things,
mm,
they come as a package deal in your purpose. And when
yes.
you find that and you step into that zone of genius and who you are, because purpose is really who you are, you're just releasing that hidden splendor within you. I wanted to help other people do that. And I know how hard and how long it took me to find it. And so I wanted when I found it, oh my goodness, I had no time for anything else. But with the podcast now, what I wasn't doing with it, I was giving, because I was interviewing this expert, we were sort of giving general information. It was not tailor-made to those specific women, the pain points. And so now I stopped. So I said, you know what? I need to revisit this and address the specific pain points through a timeline because you're gonna go through it through a timeline. And if I can address that, then they know that I am the right person to come to for what they're feeling right now. So that is why I kind of stopped that for a moment to kind of revisit the content that I was uploading
Mm.
to the platform.
I absolutely love what you do, especially that you have such a clarity. I'll pick Christian woman, transition from corporate to more fulfillment. And you're
Yeah.
speaking my language, sister. Zone of genius, being very specific, one pain point, one person, exactly what this is all about. So
Yeah.
you're in the right place at the right time. The universe,
But that,
God, aligned us to meet at the right time, and I'm really delighted. So thank you for being here, and highly recommend later today to catch replay of day 1 because day 1 is very powerful. It sets the foundation of what we're gonna do, because
yeah.
we here not just to launch a podcast, but to build the foundation of a keyword being profitable. See on the screen, you have profitable in green.
Yeah.
Profitable podcast, business, offer, messaging, not just profitable, but also impactful. Because sure, we all need to make money, but let's do so in a way that's meaningful, impactful, and purposeful, where everybody wins together. So that's what we're gonna be doing. So
Oh,
delighted. So yeah, please watch that later today,
okay.
because this what I shared yesterday is really, really important, and everything is building from the previous day. So awesome. Christine, you want to give us a quick 30-second intro?
I feel as I've done this intro so many times.
Use it as a more rehearsal,
Yes. Uh, well, I didn't really, until I came on the first challenge, I didn't really know what my zone of genius was. Um, it seems to change according to what people want of me. No, I started my first company 45 years ago. When you talk about transition, I came from a college background. I was used to teaching, and I was used to the curriculum being laid out, and I knew what I was going to teach. Yeah, as long as I got my students through their exams, that was what was expected of me. But then, not long after I started the first company, I came across vision and values, which you talk about, in your terms, but in my terms, it was how do you live by your vision and values? And I got to meet some quite famous people like Anita Roddick and some wonderful people that were laying the foundations for this kind of stuff. So I thought that would be easy doing that kind of work for other people. And that's why I associate with you saying it's difficult. It is difficult because nobody really wants to know about vision and values. They think it's just something that happens, and you don't need to be taught it. You don't need to examine it. You don't even really need to define it. So basically, that's what I've been doing for the past 25 years, is defining vision and values for other people.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Andrea.
Hello, I'm Andrea. So I'm a humanitarian development professional who work in calamity and conflict-affected areas in the Philippines, most specifically with indigenous communities. I'm a social artist, writer, holistic well-being and healing facilitator, and community builder. So I joined this and I want to create my own podcast. So first, to create a space where inspiring journeys of individuals and communities are featured and heard by those who seek the wisdom they embody. Then second is to create a space for genuine heart connections and collaborations, and also a virtual soothing space. And lastly, to continue doing what I love doing, which is hard-led conversations, have more fun, develop more confidence along the process, and convert podcasting into one of my additional lucrative income streams. So be it, and so it is. So that's
good.
my assignment, actually. I read my assignment.
Good, good, good. Love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, watch the replay of day one because I go extensively about my background as well as I literally came back from hell. 5 years ago, I was on the verge of I was depressed, broke, beyond broke, suicidal. Everything I have today, I owe to three things. First, God, family, and then my podcast in that order. If it wasn't for a podcast, I probably wouldn't be here physically. Literally, the podcast not only changed my life, transformed it in ways beyond words, beyond my wildest imagination, opened the world for me, but also saved my life. I've been able to bless to build a very successful podcast, fast approaching 400 episodes. I just released a few minutes before this call, episode number 291. I have another 15 episodes in the queue, and Thriving International Academy, 4 times, soon to be 5-time #1 international bestselling author, public speaking, TED Talk. I did a TED Talk last summer here in Vietnam, and I did a conference last 2 months ago in March here in Vietnam on leveraging podcasting for business. There I met another gentleman who's living in full-time in the Philippines from Germany, and he's hosting one of the biggest conferences for entrepreneurs and digital nomads in September in Siargao. He invited me to be not just a speaker, but a keynote speaker. So it completely opened the world for me in ways I can't even understand or comprehend. And I'm incredibly, deeply, eternally grateful for all these financial blessings. But the greatest gift that blessed me with was that of killing my shyness. I used to be incredibly painfully shy. The people that know me from before, when they see me now talking with confidence, not just online, but even in front of people and on stages, they say, "What happened to you? Did you make a pact with the devil?" I said, "No, never did, never will. I just find my purpose, my voice, my passion, my ikigai. And once you find that, then you become the person you're meant to be." And we are here all to first identify our gifts, our zone of genius, and then share them loud and proud around us and around the world. That's why we are here for, at least from my humble understanding. That's a very high level summary of me. And yeah, on the slides from yesterday, I also shared the link to my TED Talk. You're welcome to watch it. That I did last year. It's about what saved my life and got me back on my feet. And ironically, it has nothing to do with business. It had to do with understanding me going to my spiritual awakening, understanding the tremendous power of question and asking the right question instead of asking these empowering questions, just why me? What did I do to deserve this? Why? And why not little baby? Instead asking more empower. The two questions that changed my life, and I use these questions for everything. And I tell that everyone I meet is that no matter what we go through in life, look at them from the perspective of these two questions. What is this trying to teach me? What is the lesson for me to learn to that? If you look at everything from this, then you will see them for what they are. No matter how painful, how heartbreaking they may be, there's always a silver lining, a beautiful gift, and even in the most painful pain, a challenge. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I talk a lot more, and and the second thing that changed my life was realizing that I needed to reconnect with myself, listening to my gut feeling, my intuition, that voice in your head, because that's your soul. If I were to look at my life, the 3 or 4 decisions that changed my life for the last 5 years, starting my podcast, starting my academy, saying yes to sharing my story in my first book, saying yes to doing a TED Talk, all of these have come as a result of me asking better questions and listening to that gut feeling, that voice in my head. So yeah, this is a high level summary of me. I go into more details and in the call yesterday, so I recommend you watch that. Anyways, okay, let's get going. So before we start, any questions from yesterday? Christine, Andrea, questions, comments, compliments? Oh, I love those, especially with my hair.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you yesterday, but then the moment passed me by, so
Okay,
I'm
go ahead,
taking it now. So you did mention that podcasting was like one of your lifelines. So I'm just curious, which is there a specific like experience or sign that of course when you were when you were describing where you were at before, it's basically like a downward spiral, right? Like reaching the bottom.
Oh,
So
beyond the bottom,
what
yes.
yeah, so I'm curious, what was that like really instant, that moment that started to shift, like when everything started turning around and then going upward again? Like, is
Good
it a
question.
book you saw, or of course a podcast, or
For me, it took a year to even
Mm.
get there. For me, the decision that changed my life was starting my podcast YouTube channel in October of 2021. Sorry, October of 2020. But for the first year, I didn't realize it. I made a grand total of $0 because I had no idea how to make money with a podcast YouTube channel. However,
Mhm.
for me, the greatest gift was me having this beautiful conversation with people all day long, people that overcame 100 times, 1 billion times more painful, challenging challenges than me, people that had lost it all and been to jail, people that had lost it all, that overcame and survived terminal diseases, people that had overcame life-altering accidents, becoming paraplegic. All of these men and women, all telling me without hesitation, all of them, hey, just because you're going through some temporary financial challenges, that's not a reason for you to check out. Because I was literally considering checking out, as I said on my yesterday. So if I'm still here, I owe a big part to these amazing men and women that I talked to over the first year that really gave me the word to continue. So I'm getting emotional, but again, it was there's no specific moment, but it was
Right.
a year in the
Series.
making. However, the moment that things started to change was when I reached 100 episodes, which took exactly a year. From October 2020 to October 2021, that's when people started asking me, hey, can you help me launch my podcast? At first, I was hesitant. Go watch this video on YouTube. So, no. Show me how you did it. What do you want to show you? I don't know. I just did it. Well, show me how you did it. Remember what I said about question, asking the right question? The next question I asked them, 4 questions that changed my life. The first question was, for example, hey, Andrea, do you have your own podcast? 99% would say no. When I ask him why,
No.
3 reasons. I don't know where to start. I'm not a techie. And I don't know how to get the right people and how to grow it and how to monetize it. That's when it clicked. The next question opened everything. And that question was, hey, would you be interested if I were to show you how to not only launch your podcast, but build your platform so you can share your story so that you can connect heart to heart with exactly the audience, even if you have no audience? I get a resounding yes. I get 6 clients in my first weekend. I made $3,000 in that first weekend. $3,000 is not a lot of money, but for someone that's broke, it's like you won the jackpot,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
6 clients in the first weekend and 60 clients in the next 10 months with a YouTube channel of less than 200 subscribers. So for me, the turning point was, again, it took a year to get there. But the moment I started seeing results after saving my life, literally, was a year later when I reach 100 episodes. And one thing I always say, a podcast is like a baby, is like a plant. It's a long-term investment. But if you do it, you nurture it, you water it every day, you do it constantly, you will see results, and you will see phenomenal results. I explained in detail yesterday on the benefit of podcasting.
Mhm.
Does that answer your question, Andrea?
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Princess,
How many do you suggest doing for the week? Is it 1 per week or 2?
great question. I'm going to cover all of these on day 4 when we talk about launching a podcast. But to answer your question, there's no right or wrong answer. It's really your business, your podcast, your call. For me, when I have the time, I release 1 episode a day. When I don't have the time, I went as long as 2-3 months without releasing an episode. But that's me. I'm not saying you should do that. Nobody is holding a gun to you and forcing you to release 1 episode a day. You don't have a boss. You're the boss, and you call the shots. But one thing I recommend is to show consistency. At the bare minimum, at least 1 a week. That's the absolute bare minimum. And I will cover more on that on Friday, on day 5, where I share about how to actually make money with your podcast. If you want to go all in, I recommend you do 1 a day, Monday to Friday. And I will go into detail on the why of that on Friday, because the more conversations you have with your prospects, guess what? The more likelihood of getting a client. There's no secret about it. Even though business is not a numbers game, but in this case, it is a numbers game. The more you put yourself out there, the more the chance of you being able to help someone getting a client increases. But I'll cover that on Friday, on day 5. We're going to talk only about that on Friday, how to make money with your podcast. Does that answer your question, Princess?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Very welcome. All right, let's move on. Christine, any questions?
Nope.
I like the no. All right. Okay, cool. Let's go. So we're into our day 1. So today, it's going to be a fun day today. We're going to brainstorm and dig deep. So do you want to get leads and high-ticket clients and make money with your podcast, your YouTube channel? Raise your hand if you want.
Yes.
If I could, I would raise even both of my feet without falling. But I'm not going to do it. I want to stay professional. Anyways, so I shared this with you guys yesterday, and I want to emphasize it again. Look at the graph. Look at the trend. And this is only for the US. So you can multiply that by a factor of 3 to 5 to make it global. So this year, compared to from last year, it's already increased by 30%, 40%, by an extra $15 billion. By 2029, which is not far from now, only 2.5 years, well, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 years, sorry, 3.5 years from now, it's going to increase by almost $100 billion. What does that mean? That means that this is the amount of money, businesses, partnerships, collaboration that are done every day through podcasting, people that meet. For example, me nowadays, I only do business with people I met on my podcast. My publisher, with who I've done 4, soon to be 5 books, all #1 international bestselling on launch day in multiple categories, multiple countries. She was a guest on my podcast in the summer of 2021. My marketing guy, same thing. My copywriter, everybody. So the podcast, as I shared yesterday, is not only a beautiful a phenomenal platform for you to find your ideal clients, but also to surround yourself and build your A team, people that you will need for your business. Because again, it's going to allow you to, by having heart-to-heart conversation, to vet them, to get to know them, because business is all about a relationship nurturing process. I explained extensively yesterday. So again, this is incredibly, incredibly inspiring, very encouraging. And podcasting is only at its infancy. I can only imagine what it's going to be by 2030 and beyond. It's going to reach $1 trillion by 2040. And before you know it, we'll be in 2040. And I'll have you, Christine, do the classes for me by then, okay? Don't say anything negative. You'll be here. All right. All right. Do you guys see how powerful that is? Comment yes if you see it, and comment 1 if you see it in the chat, and comment 2 if you say, oh, I want a piece of that.
Piece of that.
In the chat. Comment 1 if you say yes, I see the potential, and comment 2 if you want a piece of this gigantic, delicious pie. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just to make sure so you guys don't fall asleep. All right. Especially you, Christine.
I'm not going to sleep.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I love picking up on you, Christine. All right. Here's another. So if you thought that this is powerful, the next one is going to blow your socks away. Read that out loud, please.
Billion a
$1
day.
billion per day.
$1 billion a day. Do you know what that is?
Mm. I've seen your trailer. Yeah.
No. Okay. Do you know what that is, guys? Share it, Christine. Share it.
That's how much is spent on learning and development and programs and things that people are paying for.
Exactly. You're a smart cookie. I know that you remember that. So $1 billion a day, that's how much people have been investing each and every single day and solving a very specific pain point that they are facing. Keyword being very specific pain point, not general. And you know what is the crazy part about that, guys? This stat is from a year ago. I can't even imagine how much it is by now, given how the self-investment and coaching industry has been growing by leaps and bounds. It's probably 1.5, even maybe $2 billion a day. So the pie is absolutely gigantic. What's even beyond gigantic? Gargantuesque, whatever you want to call it.
A lot of it is rubbish, isn't it?
Sorry?
A lot of it is rubbish.
Yes,
It's
yes.
People who are pushing something out there that they're not necessarily an expert on.
Yes, I've met those people. Yes, people that my background is in e-commerce. As soon as they were able to sell $1,000 on Amazon, all of a sudden they became a guru and started selling courses on how to make $1 million. While they just made $1,000. You know, I've met those people. Yes. So again, as I said, the question is now, what can me and you and here do to get our share of this gigantic, humongous, gargantuous pie? Do you want to get a piece of that pie, guys?
Mhm.
Even if it was $1,000 a day,
Yes.
even $500, even $100 a day, that can pay your mortgage, especially for you and guys in the UK. And the Philippines, $100 a day, 3,000. That is what? That is close to 150,000 pesos, which is a nice chunk of cash. You can live very well on that. So again, and there's absolutely no reason, especially as you will see today and for the rest of the week, that you guys cannot get your share of that. Are you excited to get your share of this?
Yes.
Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. Okay. So as I mentioned, this is on. Okay. Now, in order to achieve that, we need to answer a very, very, very specific question. And that is, what very specific pain point can you solve and for who? That is the key question to answer to get your piece of that pie. And I love what you said during your intro, Princess, because you were absolutely just speaking my language. Being specific, zone of genius, guess what? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So again, and to achieve that, to identify what is the pain point, specific pain point that you can solve and for who, we need to answer these next 4 key questions. Number 1, what's your primary core expertise and skill set? In other words, what my favorite word, what is your zone of genius? Then, once you've identified your zone of genius, that's going to tell you what is the main pain point you're solving and for who? Through your offer, your program, your podcast, your YouTube channel, and so on and so forth, your messaging. And then the next question, based on that, everything flows logically. There's no guesswork. It builds from the previous. What's your dream outcome for that specific, that your program, your offer, your messaging, your podcast, YouTube channel delivers for that person? And last but definitely not least, how do you find them and get your message across to them? And that's where this comes into play. As I explained yesterday, it's all about high-ticket selling is about one thing and one thing only, trust. Now, how do you build trust? By building rapport. How do you build rapport? By having heart-to-heart conversations, by being authentic. So do you see how everything makes sense, guys? How everything comes into play? All right, let's move on. Now, what is the number one reason why most coaches, entrepreneurs online fail and struggle to get any traction, whether that is getting leads or even clients for their businesses? Can you guess what that is?
Are they being too general?
Bingo, you're a smart cookie. I like that. Anyone else wants to add to that? Yes, go ahead, Andrea.
In terms of communications, they usually talk about them, not what they can do for the
Yes,
audience
that's very
or the
true.
pain point
True.
of the audience that
That's
they
very
can
true.
solve.
Yes, very true. That's why it's very important when you do your talks, don't make it just about you and say, from time to time, ask them, can you guys relate with that? Have you been to this in a moment that you felt that way? To make sure that they are involved and not falling asleep or zooming out. So that's very important. But yes, Christine, do you want to add anything?
We talk about sorting the wheat from the chaff.
Yes, indeed. I love that expression.
It's a very old British expression. That is
Yes.
sorted out the wheat from the chaff.
Yes.
The ones who are just wasting your time and the ones who truly want to know
That's
how to
actually
get
the
on.
title of a very famous podcast.
Is it? Oh,
Yes.
right.
So it's only taken that name. So anyways,
Mm.
Princess, you have your hand raised?
Yeah. I think it's about telling your story as if it was their story. So all the things that you have felt, you say, yeah, you start with I, but you bring in the you.
Yes.
Can you relate? Have you ever been that?
Yes.
And so it's like what you're doing is creating the hell first and then show them the heaven, which is the result. And
That's
saying, you know
it.
what? I can help you get this because I know this is what you're going through. And because you have been through it, you know how to create that emotion. So it's about stepping into the topic rather than it be an addition to who
Yes.
you step right in the topic and you become the topic and let them feel what you're feeling. Because I'm sure we all know that sales come from emotion.
Yes.
Have you ever seen something that you want so badly, you even dream it?
Oh, absolutely. Listen.
It's like we have to create that desire and let them dream about the result. Can you imagine if I had that? So that is how I have been. All of my research have brought me to this point. So when I'm talking to them, that's what I'm supposed to be created in them, that desire through the emotion and all of that. We're emotional beings, are we not?
Absolutely. 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 I couldn't agree more with you. Absolutely. And I'm gonna, yes, add to that. So to answer the question, because they lack clarity. They want to help everyone with a lot of issues. Oh, let me help you with your fitness, your finances, your relationships, your kitchen, your garden, your garage, and everything else under the sun. That's beautiful, but that's something only God can do. Me and you are not God. We are a piece of God. So what we need to focus on, one specific pain point for one very specific person. Now, how do we do that? And that's what I'm going to be covering today later on. So again, what we need to do is to have here is to be as crystal clear as possible. Laser focus clarity, because again, clarity is the name of the game. By the end of this challenge, you will have memorized this. Clarity is the name of the game. Clarity is the name of the game. I will be repeating that sentence multiple times a day because that is incredibly powerful. Clarity is the name of the game. You don't want to be the jack of all trades and master of none. You want to become the go-to person. The ultimate goal for any entrepreneur is to be known as the go-to person. For me, I want to be known as the podcast guy. Christine, you want to be known as the what is it? The grant crafting is what you do, a lady? No. The bed writing lady. You know, the bed writing lady.
No, that's only the beginning, isn't it?
Exactly.
The beginning
exactly.
is writing the bed. It's how do you deliver?
Yeah, exactly. You
I
want to
think
become.
I said something to you the other day, and you said yes. It's the pathway from the beginning to
Yes.
achieving the end. Something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Can't remember what it was now, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Andrea, you want to become the only rice person, right? I'm joking. No. So this is the game, guys. You want to be known as the go-to person, not for the world, but for your audience, for your people. That's all. If you can achieve that, then you're going to get your fair share of that $1 billion a day pie. That's it. Again, one very specific pain point for one very specific person. I want you guys to memorize that. One very specific pain point for one very specific person. That's it. That is the key. Don't try to help. The one thing that really breaks my heart when I hear people say, oh, I help people be happy, I help people become fit or become, whatever. No, that's very vague. When your message is vague, guess what? Nobody's going to be able to connect with you, resonate with you. You're not going to be able to help nobody. Again, the more clarity you have in your messaging and offer, the more your message will be magnetic. Your offer will be compelling. Your program will be transformational. And guess what? Your business will be highly, widely profitable. And I'm going to cover that in a moment. Your business needs to be not transactional, but transformational. When you make it transformational, that's when you can charge $25,000, $100,000. And people will say, okay, what's the next step? I have a coach my coach is a former pastor in Canada. Is an incredible closer, but without selling. He sells with a heart by just helping truly. He's helping me with becoming a better closer, seller, so to speak. I paid him $10,000 2 years ago. The same program now is $25,000. And he has a VIP one-on-one for 3 months. One call a week, $75,000. He has a waiting list. He doesn't do any marketing. Because again, what he offers is transformation, helps you to 5 to 10x your sales. That's transformation. People don't want information. They want transformation and speed. Help them get the result, the dream outcome they want faster. That's what people want. And that's how you make your business profitable and impactful. So again, this is very important. Again, memorize this. One very specific pain point for one very specific person. So your message is magnetic, compelling. Your offer is compelling. Your program will be transformational. And all of that is going to result in your business being wildly profitable. Not only profitable for you, but also a no-brainer for the right person that needs it. Your offer is not going to be for everyone. That's a given. And you don't want that. But for the right person, it's going to be a godsend. Our task is to focus on finding that person that needs you, that person that is just a few steps behind you, that person that you overcame what they're going through, because that's what people want. They want a big brother, a big sister. Hey, I've been in your shoes. Hold my hand. Together we're going to make it, because I've been exactly in your shoes. And I'm going to explain that in a moment, go over that. So yeah, this is what's going to make your business impactful and profitable. Does that make sense? All right. Now, how do we achieve that? We achieve that by identifying your zone of genius and true gifts. We all have our zone of genius. Now, how do we identify, what is your zone of genius? How do you identify your zone of genius? To identify your zone of genius, before I even give it to you, I want to hear it from you guys. What does it mean, a zone of genius?
It's your gift, the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. It is innate. It is, school didn't give it to you. You came here packaged with it. God gave that to you. I like to describe it as the part of God that He gave you to express in the earth.
Oh, I
That's
love that.
that's how I describe it.
I love that. Yes, beautifully said. Beautifully said. Anyone wants to add to that?
And it's easy.
Comes
It's easy for
naturally.
you. It's
Yeah.
easy for you. It comes naturally for you. While
Second
some
nature.
people are pulling out their hair trying to do what you do.
That's it. That's it. Beautiful. Beautiful. So again, there's 4 ways to identify your zone of genius. From my experience, feel free to add to it. Number 1, the most obvious one is look at your professional background and experiences. Let's say you spend 10, 20, 30 years in whatever industry. Then you really understand, you know inside out the industry, you speak the language, you know the pain points. That's the first place to start. Second of all, any high income skill that you may have acquired or learned in the process. That's very important. Let's say graphic designer, copywriter, email marketing, coding, negotiating, closing, selling, whatever. Next is if you have any special talent. Let's say, for example, you're amazing at playing the guitar, or piano, or singing, or memorizing, or whatever. There are people that have built very successful businesses teaching others how to dance, how to learn to dance, or singing, or playing the guitar, or piano, or whatever. Whatever talent or skill you have, there's someone out there that is looking for it and willing and ready to pay for that. So why not you being that person to help that person? The last one is probably the most popular one, and probably my favorite, and that is any major life challenges that you may have overcome in your journey and your hero's journey. Because I said yesterday, we all go to our fair share of pain, trauma, abuse, tragedy, betrayal, heartbreak, struggles. Yes, it's very painful. You go to that, but then that becomes your story. Then your story becomes your gifts. Then your gifts become your duty and responsibility to share them around you and around the world. Because sure, life is a school. We come here to grow, become better, wiser, and all that. But from my humble understanding, that's only 5% of what we are here for. The 95% is taking those gifts, sharing them. First of all, embracing them loud and proud, and then sharing them even louder and prouder around you and around the world. Our gifts is the last thing that we can be greedy with. They're meant to be shared, not to be kept inside of you and taken to the grave, but to be shared. So again, and I'm gonna share with you ways to identify your zone of genius. So looking at these 4 ways to identify your zone of genius, which one would you say applies the most to you when it comes to identifying your zone of genius and your gifts? 1 sentence. Why is my hand still? I'm not raising my hand. Lower hand, okay.
There is something else that I think needs to be there, is what do people come to you for? Your friends,
That's the
they
next
come
slide.
to you all the time.
That's the
And
next
you
slide.
Okay, you've been doing this thing all the time, but you
Yes.
don't even realize that it's a thing.
Yes, that's the next slide. Yes,
Uh,
if anything that you love geeking about and that you know in your circle as the go-to person, growing up, I used to be Mr. Brazil because I was obsessed with Brazil. You know, everybody had a question about Brazil, they came to me. But unfortunately, you can't turn that into a business because especially now with Google, YouTube, and ChatGPT,
Yeah.
you know, but that's what I mean. What are you what do you love geeking about? What are you known for in your circles? And there's another one that I will add in a moment. Let's say that I'm hosting a conference and one of the speakers bails on me at the last minute. And I were to call you, say, frantically, panicking, say, hey, Princess, Christine, Andrea, I need you to come here in the next 20 minutes and do a talk for an hour. What can you talk about for an hour? No preparation and a very deep, meaningful way. That's another fantastic way to identify your zone of genius.
That's true.
So if you look at all of these, especially these first four, which one applies the most to you, to helping you to identify your zone of genius? I've had people that
Number
were
four.
yes, number four, probably, yes. I've had people that after 20 years in whatever industry, they left it and they didn't want to do anything with it. They were sick and tired of it. Said, no, yet, I don't want to do anything with it. 999. No.
True.
So Christine, which one applies for you the most?
I think number 2.
So any high income skill? Yes. Helping people, yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yes. To prepare.
I put in the chat, joining the dots and developing people and organizations.
Beautiful. Love that.
Yeah. I'm looking at number 1.
Okay.
As you were saying that some people don't want to, that's me. I don't want to go back into that environment, but the skills I've developed there, and I want to use that in my area of genius, if you see what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's none of the things that you've gone through are wasted if you look at it carefully. All of those things are still relevant for your next level, because it's almost like it's training for the next level. Each level that you are, it's like you're training for the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So it's like a domino effect to this beautifully bloomed flower.
Yes.
So it's like you pop up out of the earth. It was rough growing through that. And then you start budding, you start blossoming, and then you start budding, and then you start blooming. So everything is a process. All of this, where we start, everything is a process and nothing should be discounted. So I
Yes.
think when you bottle everything together and say, you know what, this is how I can help you now. I am older, I'm wiser now, and this is what I can give to you. And you look at the pain points that you want to solve, and you just, sometimes you can't call it what you think it is, but you bottle it in it. So you don't give people really what you want. You can't. I realize you have to give them what they want, but then give them what they need. Sell them what they want, and then give them what they need in the
That's
in the
it.
program. Because sometimes you can't say, "Come over here and find your purpose." They say, "What is that? I don't
Yeah.
want to do that right now." But
For example, for you, a princess, you can help women of faith in the NHS that are sick and tired of it. They want to
yeah,
pursue something more fulfilling.
and that's why I say like corporate or career,
And
because
if you wanna go even, sorry to interrupt, if you wanna go one
yeah,
layer even further down to make it even more
yeah,
easy to focus, again, that's a suggestion. I'm not saying you should do that, but one of my clients is doing that in the US and she's very successful.
mhm,
She's a black lady, very involved in the church. She works with black women of faith and help them
yeah,
become more find fulfillment. So, for example, you can help black women of faith in the NHS or in the corporate world. We're sick and tired of the corporate world nonsense, and really hold their hand, because again, and as we explain later on, they will big time relate with you, identify with you. They will see you as one of their own. They will see themselves in you. They will really, I think this will be even more impactful. Again, I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm
yeah,
just sharing from my experience and one of my past clients and students. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Andrea, what about you, my dear?
It falls under professional experience and background, special talent, And I think what people come to me for, it's connecting people, networking, and creating communities. That's what I'm
Love that.
good
Love
at.
that. Love that. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So again, do some brainstorming on your own, and I will give you more things to look at,
Yeah.
more ways. But basically, the simplest way to build a profitable business and podcast is follow these 4 steps. Number 1,
Mhm.
identify your zone of genius and true gifts. That's going to give you the non-negotiable, indispensable clarity that you need on what is the number 1 pain point you can solve and for who that you can solve, and then clarity on who's the person you can help at the highest level. And last but definitely not least, where is that person hanging out? Once you know who's that person, you will know where is that person hanging out. For me, it's mostly on Facebook. One thing I will tell you guys, Facebook groups are an absolute gold mine. For the first 2.5
Yeah.
years, 100% of my clients came from Facebook group. And only now I'm starting to venture into LinkedIn. But don't try to be all over the map. Focus on one platform until your business is successful, then expand. Don't try all of it once to go to Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. No, you're gonna get sidetracked. There's one very powerful thing. It's called the rule of the 5 or 6 once. One business, one offer, one client, 1 year, one traffic source, and there's
Again, please.
the rule of the 5 or 6 1. One business, one offer, one avatar, one traffic source, 1 year. Almost like a mule, and say no. The biggest secret to success of all the billionaires is to say no. Because when you say yes to other things, you're saying no to your dreams, to your goals. But when you're saying no to distractions, you're saying yes to your mission, to your purpose, to your vision.
Yes.
Especially once you start getting more visibility, more success, you will be bombarded with people left and right. Oh, take a look at this. This would be, help me promote this. This is going to be good. Let's look at, are you open to look at an opportunity to make more money? My answer by now is thank you. I'm honored. I'm grateful. But at this time, my focus is my business.
Yes.
I think that is why your business has to, it can't just be a business, it has to have an assignment.
Yes.
And anything that falls outside of your assignment is a no.
Yeah. When
Just-
you say no to distractions, you're saying yes
Yeah.
to yourself. When you say yes to yourself, you have to say no to others. Saying no to others, especially to distractions, is the greatest gift you can give yourself in your business. And that's not being selfish, it's being altruistic.
Yeah.
I mean, even scripture says to keep thine eye single, mean be focused. Don't be all over the place.
Yes.
Can you, Lorenza, you said something about one of your client. I just wanted to write it down just to have a look at it. You said one of your client helped Black women of faith.
Yes, she is one of my clients in the US. She was on my first book, and she's actually my very first guest on my podcast, Dr. Iris Perkins. She's in the US, and she's a very active woman in the church, and I forgot which state, but she works exclusively with Black women of faith.
Okay.
I can connect you to her if you want.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes, I'll do it after this call.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We connect on Facebook, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She's on Facebook. I'll connect you guys after this call. So yeah, so again, guys, it's okay to say no. It's okay to put yourself yes. You need to fill your cup first before you can give to others. Just like when you get on a plane, they tell you put your oxygen mask first, even before your toddler. Because if you pass out, you can't help anyone.
I'm hearing scripture again. Blind can't lead blind. What's going on?
It's a sign.
It's a sign.
Synchronicity, my friend. Synchronicity. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. You mentioned that earlier, Princess, and you were a bit too fast. Here's another wonderful way to identify your zone of genius. What is one thing that you're known for in your circle? Or one thing that you're known as the go-to person? What is one thing you love geeking about? And as I use the example of the conference, let's say you're hosting an event and one of the speakers bails on you at the last minute and you're scrambling. You say, hey, Princess, Christine, Andrea, Payment, I need you to come and do a talk. And I want you to be here in the next half an hour and talk for an hour. What topic can you talk about for an hour in a deep, meaningful way that's going to provide incredible value to the audience? That's a fantastic way to identify your zone of genius. And please, please, please do not discard anything, because we take for granted our gifts. For us, they're nothing special, the second nature. But what you're good at, for someone else, that's magic. What comes natural for you, for someone else, is like Chinese, so to speak. So take a piece of paper later today and write this down. And the one thing I tell all the time, please, and I'm begging you, don't treat this as entertainment. This is life-changing. If you implement this, it can and it will change your business and your life, just like it did for me. So please, take this to heart, do the assignments, take the time. Because if you're spending your time with me, an hour and a half a day, actually do the work. Are you committed to doing the work, guys?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
All right, let's make it happen by the Lord. Let's go. So guys, again, it's not rocket science. It's just back to basics. It's all about common sense. And the sad thing is that in today's world, where everybody has an attention span of a goldfish, and where the most valuable currency in the world of business is attention, common sense is becoming rarer and rarer. But if you're blessed to have common sense, guess what? It's going to be very easy for you to dominate and to win. Because people are lazy. People have no attention span. They can't focus. But if you can focus a little bit longer than them, if you have a little bit more discipline, and most importantly, you have clarity, game over. You will crush it. There's no the word competition will disappear, will vanish, will vaporize from your vocabulary and your reality. Seriously, guys. All right. Here's one of my favorite quotes. Please don't laugh. Your crap is your gold. Literally. All the crap that you had to overcome in your life, yes, they may have been very painful. Heartbreak, tragedy, betrayal, struggle, disease, accidents, even for some people, jail, whatever. That's your goal. One of the gentlemen, my dear friend, Coach Randy Brown, very, very, very successful basketball coach in the US. Quite a lot of his players went on to not only play in the NBA, but become world champion, like Steve Kerr. He played with Michael Jordan. He played with the Lakers. He's a coach of the Warriors. He was one of his students under him. Tragedy hit him back in the early 2000s. He lost not one, but his two young daughters at the age of 7 in a span of 4 years due to the same disease. Losing one child is enough to break any person, but he lost both. So he lost everything. He lost his marriage. He lost his mind. He lost his career. Ended up in jail for 7 years. And in jail, he was told he can never work with kids again. So he had to reinvent himself. And now he's become a very successful, sought-after speaker, helping coaches now, basketball coaches, to get the big breaks and go and become a professional basketball coach. So him going to jail, he said this was the greatest gift of his life. I've had so many people on my podcast that were diagnosed with cancer. And they all unanimously told me getting diagnosed with cancer was the greatest gift of their life. When you hear that from someone, say, what are you talking about? What are you smoking? Have you lost your mind? But these people have all told me, hey, this was the greatest gift of their life. That's what I mean. Your crap is your goal, literally. Does it make sense, guys? Can you relate with that?
Yeah.
What is your biggest crap in your life that you can turn into a gold, a beautiful gold? 1 or 2 sentences. Who wants to go first?
I don't know if I can do it in 2 sentences, but one of the biggest crap is working in, I don't want to say it was wrong, but when you're out of alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, it's one of the most painful things you can ever do with
Yes.
yourself. you're working, you're going to work, and you don't know why. If it weren't for the bills, you wouldn't be there because you're not happy. And so you become just burn out and then you crash. That happened to me about 3 or 4 times. The last time was last July, and I was on my back looking up at the ceiling, burned out, because I was doing in fact, I was doing 3 people's job because I was the head of my department. One person was sick. I have a 2 people training. So I had to be doing all of this. And I said to myself, how did I get here? And I remember looking up and I said to myself, this is not even what I want to do. And I have known for a while what I want to do. What's stopping me stepping out and grab what I need? What is stopping me? And everywhere I looked when I was supposed to leave, and I know some people don't believe like I believe, I appreciate that, but God starts showing me signs. I was at the gas station, petrol station, I saw Arise and Shine. I am watching TV, I saw Arise and Shine. My
Ah,
cereal box, I look around, I saw Arise and Shine. I am driving behind a truck, I saw Arise and Shine. And I thought, oh my God, this is not a coincidence.
no, it's a sign.
Yes, it was a sign. And then that was
Confirmation.
what made me I held my first online summit. But what I learned from that summit is, one, that's what I want to do. And two, those people were not my audience. So I learned from that. But then I really knew this classroom business is not for me anymore. Yes, I have touched lives. And when I look at what I did at work, it's the very same thing I'm being called to do now, because your job is not your work. Your work is
Mm,
so different from your job. So then you may be trained to do one thing, but when you go there, the problems that arises that you have to solve is your work.
mm,
And I find that I love transforming and training people and letting them see that you are better than where you are.
yes.
I want you to arise and shine. So I said to myself, I can't tell people to arise and shine when I'm not arising and shining. I am not supposed to be on that mountain. My assignment is done there. So now I have to take the leap. So the crap I have been through is being burnout,
Mhm.
unfulfilled, and being in the wrong area of influence.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you. Absolutely. All right. Do you guys want to share yours in 1 or 2 sentences, Christine and Andrea? Or we can just
I
move on.
already shared mine in my
Yeah.
first podcast with you.
Yeah, I
I
know.
think it was the first one.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember.
Makes
Mine
you a lot
is
more sympathetic to other people's problems
Yes, yes, yes,
if you
yes,
go through some kind of tragedy yourself.
yes, yes, yes. Andrea?
mine was overcoming childhood abuse and trauma, and then the second one is the shame around financial issues.
Yes, 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 yes. Big time. Yes, yes. Well, you can turn those around and ask yourself these 2 questions. What was that trying to teach me? What is the lesson for me to learn to that? And once you understand that, take those gifts, share them with others.
Yeah, that's why I became a healer
There
because
you
of
go.
those.
Beautiful. All right, let's move on. So once we identify our zone of genius, then that's gonna tell us very clearly who's our ideal avatar in a very specific way. Everything flows downstream in a very logical way. No guesswork required. So once you know what is your zone of genius, that's gonna tell you what's the number 1 pain point you can solve and for who. Very simple. Ideally, your avatar is someone who resembles you as much as possible, who looks like you, and who resonates with you. Let me give you a very simple yet silly example. Can me as a guy, can I become a successful coach helping women to go through pregnancy?
No.
Can I learn it? Sure, but can I really experience it and connect with them? Absolutely not, because I can never experience that, despite what all some of these liberal cuckoo will try to make you believe that you can. No, absolutely not. So again, that's why I said earlier to you, Princess, you're helping
Yeah.
women of faith even better, even more deeper if you were to focus on helping Black women of faith.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Again, it doesn't mean that you have to go that way. But again, if I were you, I would go there because it would make my message so much more compelling. Because they will see as one of them. Hey, that's me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So as I said, ideally is someone that resembles you as much as possible, that looks like you and reasons with you. But ideally, ultimately, your avatar is no one else than yourself. Just a few steps ago. The greatest lesson I learned in business is if you were to build your business, your offer, your podcast, your messaging, everything you do, the way you wish existed when you were at the lowest, when you were a few steps behind, when you were starting your journey, then you're golden. That's probably the biggest takeaway from today. You are your avatar. Build your offer, your business, your messaging, your podcast, your YouTube channel, whatever you do, the way you wished existed. For example, we've all been into programs where after paying the money, you were welcomed with an email saying, "Oh, welcome. Here's your access to your dashboard," and you were greeted with 2,000 videos each 3 hours. And when you get on calls, you were like, member number 375. Good luck getting a word in. Even forget about actually getting access to the trainers and the person behind it. We've all been there. So that's why
Yeah.
my program, I'll tell you more about my program on Friday. I cap it at 5 students on purpose. Even my classes, I keep it small on purpose so I can work with you guys almost on a one-on-one basis. Do you think I'd be able to go and spend that much time with each of you if I had 60 people on the call?
Mm.
So because again, I want to help at the highest level, at the deepest level, not superficial. That's why I created my challenges, my academy, everything I do the way I wished existed. So you've all been into programs, just create your perfect program. That's what I'm saying. Create your business, your offer, your messaging, your podcast, your YouTube channel, everything the way you wish existed when you were starting your journey. Because guess what? You are your avatar. It's not some imaginary person. No, it's you. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
There's something there, actually, that 45 years ago when I started the business, it started off as a partnership, two ladies.
Yeah.
But after 12 months, my partner walked out. She just said, "I can't do this anymore. It's not what I want to do. I want to go back to college teaching." Somebody said to me the other day, "Would you recognize your business from when you started?" And I said, "No, because it's a completely new business. It's
Because you're a different person. Because you're a
yes,
different person.
crafted around me, not me and her. It's now my vision, my thoughts."
Yeah.
And that's true. She wouldn't have fitted. She wouldn't have known what we were doing now. She wouldn't have understood it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. You do start off with a vision, and your vision changes quite quickly.
So again, guys, this is probably the biggest takeaway from today. You are your avatar. It's not some imaginary person. Because ultimately what we're doing is we are sharing our story of how we overcame whatever crap we had to go through. So the person that's behind you, a few steps behind you, is gonna come to you and you're gonna be exactly what they're looking for. So, and once we find, again, the next step is once you have identified your zone of genius, your gifts, what's the pain point you can solve for who, again, everything flows downstream very specifically. So again, I already went through that. I'm not going to go through that again. And ultimately, you are your avatar. Just you. Just look at the mirror. Just look at yourself. Look at where you are a few steps ago when you're starting your journey, which you are at the lowest, and build your program, build everything the way you wished existed. And again, the most important thing is clarity, clarity, clarity. Laser focus, laser focus, laser focus. Be as specific as you can. Because again, clarity is the name of the game. When you have clarity, you have laser focus, your message is going to be compelling. Your offer is going to be compelling, and your business is going to be transformational, and profitable. Simple as that. Now, once you've done all of that, I want you to go to the slides again and write down the answers so that it becomes a logical conclusion as to what is going to be your podcast, your offer, your business basically is going to be about. Because we're not just launching a podcast. And I tell everyone I talk to, hey, if all you're looking for is to launch a podcast, you don't need me. Just go on Amazon, get a microphone, and off you go. But what we're doing here is to build the foundation of a profitable, transformational podcast. And that needs solid digging. And this is what we're doing here. So again, please do the action steps. Please don't treat this as a entertainment. If you are, don't waste your time and my time. Seriously, and I mean it.
Yes.
But do the work because this is the blueprint. So do this. Who wants to take a go? One sentence. What their podcast, based on what we covered so far, what is your podcast going to be about? What is the pain point you're going to be solving and for who? Through your podcast and through your offer. Let's switch a little bit. I'm going to go from right to left, not left to right. Andrea, you're first.
I don't know. I need some time to discern it because I'm doing so many different things. So yeah,
that is an
be
issue.
clear.
You need to laser on one thing. Because if you try to build multiple businesses, just like when you try to cook multiple dishes, they will burn out. Instead, do them one dish at a time.
But I actually have an idea already.
Yes.
Which avatar I'd focus on, but it's not yet. It's still an ongoing process. But
Share it.
basically,
and summary.
yeah, someone like me,
Yes.
who went through burnout and a lot of
So okay, wait. Slow down. Time out. You said someone like you. Be more specific.
someone like me.
A woman, a corporate woman, even more,
Yeah.
even better. Identify, call out the age group, 30 to 40, 20 to 30.
Yeah. I'm
For
turning
example,
40,
if
so
you're a woman
maybe
if you're a woman of
maybe
faith,
30s.
okay, if you're a woman of faith, then mention that. Women of faith in the mid-30s, we're in corporate world. Even better if you can identify what industry. Is it finance, accounting? Is it real estate, medicine, pharmacy? More laser
Healing and
focus on that.
spirituality.
Huh?
Healing and spirituality.
All right, so women of faith in the mid-30s and healing and spirituality. That's much clearer. See what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Good. Thank you.
Say that again, sorry. Woman of faith in the mid-30s.
For healers and spiritual.
Oh.
It needs some refinement, but at least
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's a starting point. Yes.
We're getting somewhere.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
That's a starting point. Yes. So write down your answers in the Facebook group. Under the I'm going to be posting the replay later today. Post your assignments, answer to these on that thread. So you can all see and learn from each other and get inspired and help each other. And also people from the US group, which is much bigger, will also chime in and help you guys.
I'm a bit of a fraud because I've already done the one challenge and I've done the academy.
Yes.
It's actually worked for me. I've got 5 clients have signed memorandums of understanding.
Wow, you didn't tell me that.
No, I didn't tell you that. You didn't give me a chance to tell you that.
Okay.
And
Book a
besides
time.
which, it
I want to
wouldn't
get a
help.
testimonial from you tomorrow.
I have given you a testimonial. I've given you another one today. I give you one nearly every day.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got
goosebumps.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to discourage other people. But yeah, it's already helped me scope what the offer is, as you say, what the zone of genius is.
Wow.
And I've got a lady in the States, I've got a lady in London, I've got a lady in Australia, and I've got 2 more in the UK.
Beautiful.
I've got so much. In fact, I've taken on a new associate, a new lady who's worked many years in the NHS, and she says, I like what you're doing, and I want to come on board, and I want to help. So I've
Christine,
also got an associate out of it.
Christine, you made my day. God bless you, my friend. You made my day.
That's okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I definitely need that testimonial. Book a call
Yay.
tomorrow, okay?
All right. Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Has everybody shared their answers? Princess, have you shared yours?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I
go
was
ahead.
just,
Sorry.
no, I'm just,
Just
I mean,
thinking.
I have sort of done the banner, and my banner says I help Christian women, which is women of faith, transition from chasing corporate dreams into their purpose without giving up their dreams of greatness.
Love that.
That's what I narrowed it down to.
Yes.
So that it's anybody of faith in the corporate world who, it doesn't matter whether it's finance or whatever, once you're in that corporate cage and you're ready to transition, I'm going to help you transition into where you're meant to be. It's like the next season of your life, pretty much, because transition is hard.
I love what you
Yeah.
said, the corporate cage. I'm gonna write this down. Yeah, corporate cage. Use that in your messaging. Use that in your offers. Use that in your
That's
in
what
the
I'm
tagline.
going to do. That's the corporate, because every time I see,
Highlight.
you
Hey,
know
from
what?
the corporate cage to whatever, fill in the blank.
Okay,
That could be if not the title, at least a subtitle of your podcast and even your offer. From the corporate cage to
Freedom.
the stage or to the beaches of the world or whatever, you know?
Okay, I'm gonna fill in the blanks for that, because it really is about stepping into what you're meant to be doing.
Yes.
It's about really your purpose,
Yes.
because if you don't do that, I don't care what you do or how much money you make, you'll never be fulfilled.
Yes.
And it's funny because the money that people are chasing, it is the chase and the hustle that is killing them. While they would be in a state of flow, if they just follow their purpose. Because I believe there's a natural order of things. There's a way you are naturally wired. And every time you try to swim against the tide, the Bible calls it kicking against the prick. So every time you kick against the prick, I mean, the prick is going to prick you. It's like the dog on the nail. The dog is sitting on the nail, and the owner is whimpering and crying. And somebody said, what's wrong with your dog? He said, he's sitting on the nail. So I said, why don't you get off? Because he's sitting there, the nail, which is the job, the corporate, it's killing you. And because of money,
Soul crushing.
purity, and there's a different economy anyway. There's a way things work.
Yeah.
And there's laws govern every aspect of our lives. And if we found those laws and flow in them, the natural way things are. It
Yes.
works better that way. And honestly, I find the whole education system to be a big con. If you're not going to be a doctor, lawyer, nurse,
Tell me about it.
yeah, I think you should leave formalized education alone and do the things that will refine your gift, because it is your gift that will make room for you at the end of the day. It is the thing that you're good at will make room for you.
And especially as a youngster, 18, 19, 20-year-old boy or girl, the best thing you can do, travel the world, start a business.
It is true. You know, there was a girl in the sixth form before I left, a few years before I left. She was trying to study something else, and she used to come to school late every morning, and she was just disaffected. And I said to her, why are you wasting your time doing this when you should be somewhere playing sport, football in particular? That's what you're supposed to be doing. Because I used to observe her, and she used to just by herself. She would just be kicking the ball for hours by herself. And she's good at every sport you give her to do. And she said, Miss, you really think I can do this? I said, I don't think I know. That's what
Wow.
you're supposed to do.
Beautiful.
She left. You know, she got a semi-pro contract not long from that.
Good for you.
Oh.
Good for you.
And when she left, when I saw her again, I didn't even realize she had left because I was so busy. And she came and she gave me the biggest hug. There was this
Yes.
glow on her. And she said, thank you so much for what you said to me. I'm not there anymore. I'm at a sports college. I'm doing really well. I'm meeting people and I have opportunities I would never have had. And I honestly, when she left, the tears came strolling down my cheeks. And I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Point people in the direction in which they should go to their purpose, because that's what counts.
Or as my good friend and client from Toronto, Kwesi, would say, you're becoming an activator. We activate people.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
just coach and mentor, but
I love that,
activate.
you know. I just love to see people
Yes.
fly in their lives and they're in their area of genius and they're doing it because
Yes.
when they're that way, you can help more people.
Yes.
When you're bitter and miserable, I don't know who you can help.
Yes, yes, yes. Love that. Let's move on. Let's move on. Awesome. Here's some powerful reminders I want to share with you guys. You probably know all of them, but they're worth repeating and knowing. Do not, and I repeat, do not sell your knowledge. There's always a limit how much you can charge. Do not sell your time. There's always how much you can charge. Information is pretty much available for free on YouTube, Google, and ChatGPT and all that. Instead, offer transformation. Not even sell, but offer transformation. People pay for two things: transformation and speed. Show me how to change my life and faster. I'll throw any amount of money at you. Second, and I've been mentioning that a lot yesterday, business, especially high ticket selling, is about one thing and one thing only: trust. And the best way to build that trust is by building rapport. And how do you build rapport? By simply having heart-to-heart conversation, speaking from the heart, and being authentic. Because in today's age, with everything being superficial, people having the attention span of a goldfish, and AI and all that, what people are truly craving for is authenticity, connections, deep connection, not superficial. And the next one is a big one. When people are looking for a coach and investing in a coach, a mentor, a guide, or an activator, they're not looking for a disconnected billionaire. They're looking for someone who's 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps at most ahead of them, someone that you can relate with, identify with. And this is why I emphasize on the importance that you are your avatar just a few steps ago. And people want to hire someone that is accessible and reachable. So keep your classes. I highly recommend to keep them small in numbers, so you can charge even. Not only you can charge a premium, you can help the person at the highest level, but also because you're able to help them at the highest level, guess what? You can charge a premium for that.
Yeah.
So the more you can help someone at the highest level, the more they will be willing and able to pay you more. Because again, people pay for two things: transformation and speed. They don't care about your time. They don't care about your knowledge. They want transformation and speed.
You could still work one-to-one with someone, but
Oh,
work
absolutely.
with 5 different people.
But one-to-one will be VIP premium. So let's say you charge, I don't know, 10,000 pounds to draft to draft a bid. If you want someone to do it for them, like do for you, I would charge 50, depending how much you're raising.
Mm.
50,000,
Mm.
you know?
Mm.
And so, yeah, so always remember these. Let's, here's a big one. And that applies not just to business, but even to your life, your family, your friends, your kids, your spouse, and all that. Never put yourself in a position to ask, beg, or chase. Instead, invite. When you invite someone, You're turning the table. Instead of you being the one chasing, you're the one being chased. And this is a approach I used on my podcast to get. And 400 episodes, I only had 2 people say no to me.
Yes. Oh.
One was because she was about to give birth, so we had to reschedule it. And second was a man about to be moved from relocated for work from the US to Germany. And of course, we had to reschedule. But nobody has told me get lost. And that is simply because I didn't reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to see how I can help you with your business. If you were to approach anyone that way, you would not even get a reply.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, hey, Princess, Christine, Andrea, Payman, my name is Payman. I'm the host of the Super Duper podcast. I love what you're doing, and I would love for you to come share your story on my podcast. They will get back to you fast as you can imagine, faster even before you sent your message. So absolutely, just say when. Send me your calendar. Again, never put yourself in a position to ask, beg, or chase. Instead, invite. Let's say you have clients that you did great work with them, and you want them to do a testimonial. If you were to say, hey, Mary or Christine, could you please send me a testimonial? Sure, they will do it, but you have to ask a few times, and that's not a good place to be. Instead, you say, hey, Christine, let's do another podcast. And on the podcast, you can ask him the questions you need. We'll do that next week, Christine, okay? So again, always remember this. Never put yourself in a position to ask, beg, or chase. Instead, invite. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Awesome. And just to recap, it's all about identifying your true zone of genius and true gifts. That's going to determine what is the pain point you're solving and for who. And then once you know who's that person, then the next step is, where is that person hanging out? For me, it's been mostly on Facebook groups. For someone else, it might be LinkedIn, depending on your business. For you, Christine, probably is going to be LinkedIn. But I will,
LinkedIn is sometimes my competitors.
yes. But one thing I will tell all of you guys, do not sleep on Facebook. Facebook groups are an absolute gold mine, especially when you do it the right way.
Yes.
I spent an entire day inside the academy just on that alone. So, and then once you identify where's that person, where they hang out, you simply invite them on your podcast. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't ask, you simply invite. That's the key. This is exact method that allowed me to get over 100 high-ticket clients with a YouTube channel of less than 200 subscribers. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Princess.
Oh, you said invite them. That's your prospective client on your podcast?
Yes, I only interview. So the way it's going to be, what I do and what I teach is, once you've identified your ideal clients and you know where they hang out, you simply interview them, invite them on your podcast. We interview not random people. We interview our prospects so we can build that trust, that foundation, that rapport with them. So
And what would you be asking them about their pain points?
whatever is the theme of your podcast. For example, for me, I want to showcase the stories. I'm interviewing heart-centered authors, coaches, and speakers to come share their stories. And you haven't been on my podcast, but go on my YouTube channel. They all have the same structure. The first question I ask them is, so tell me, Princess, we're going to talk about your business later on, but for people who don't know you, tell us, who's Princess as a human being and as a woman? And I just let you speak. I say, what's your story? And then I ask them, so growing up, ask them a question about growing up. What was the relationship with school? For me, the focus on my podcast is to really get to know the person as a person, first and foremost, as a man, as a woman, to build that trust, that rapport. And later on, we talk about their business. One of the questions I ask them is, so do you have your own podcast? And if they say no, I ask them, I know already, because I mostly invite people who don't have a podcast. I ask them, so what's the number one reason that's been holding you back from launching your podcast? And I just shut up and listen. And I just let them talk. One question I ask them says, tell me, how are you getting your clients? And if you ask someone cold that doesn't know you, doesn't have rapport, if you ask them those questions, They will not answer. If they answer, they will answer in a very superficial way. Like almost in a way that's none of your business. But once you've taken the time to really build that rapport, that trust, and they can feel that sincerely, not just here just to sell, but to really get to know them, then they will truthfully, candidly answer those questions. And then at the end of the call, and as long as your offer is on point and you bring the right people, guaranteed they will ask you, so what about you, Princess? What do you do? Either before, during, after the call. And when you tell them, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. For me, for example, I help authors, coaches, and speakers to get the first and next high-ticket client to their own profitable podcast or YouTube channel, even if you have no audience. Oh, wow, I've been looking at YouTube and podcasts for a while. How do you do that? Can you help me? Sure, let's have a time to talk. When you do it that way, there's no need for you to pitch, to sell, to convince, or as I like to say in a funny, cheesy way, to seduce or kidnap someone to do business with. It's a natural, automatic, organic progression.
Kidnap.
Or seduce.
Yeah, seriously. Hey, add some humor. Yes. Add your personality. Yes. Don't censor because you're no longer in the corporate cage where you have to be like what is it? Like an emotionless like robot or a drone. Let your personality shine. Let your sense of humor. Because again, the more you let your personality shine, your sense of humor, sure, you will rub some people up, but who cares? Those people are not your tribe. But the ones that will identify, they will be glued to you, attracted magnetically.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So, congratulations for today. We're done. Here's a sneak peek about tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be taking the findings of today, and we're going to be literally crafting your irresistible Godfather offer. We're going to be crafting what's your offer, literally. And I'm going to be introducing to you a principle that completely changed my business, and that is a quantifiable, measurable end result. Your offer must have that. That's a non-negotiable. If you want your business to be a business, if your business doesn't have a quantifiable, measurable end result, it's not a business. It's a hobby or a side hustle, a waste of time. And plus, tomorrow, we'll need to confirm it. Expert talk with my personal copywriter. He's an incredible guy, incredibly gifted. He's going to be blowing your mind. He's going to literally write your offer for you live. So do not miss that.
What
I don't
time
know
is
if-
it?
Same time.
12.
12. Yeah. So, Christine, you know him. Michiel is a firecracker. So, all right. Any questions about anything we've done? And then we'll wrap it up. It's been an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, but fun time.
Yeah, we did have fun.
Any questions, comments, compliments, especially about my hair?
No, I like your no fluff approach,
Thank
and
you.
you actually give us very good content. I've been on a lot of programs that made me very vexed. And I said to myself, when you started talking about crafting something that you yourself would want in terms of, yeah, crafting your ideal offer then, for example. And I said to myself, I'd never do that fluff rubbish. I am going to give people amazing, amazing, not only information, but transformation within the whole thing so that they can start use now. I want them to be able to go away and apply this now and to think, you know what, if she could have given me this for free, can you imagine what would it be like to work with them? It's a scriptural principle. Oh, taste and see.
Speaking of scriptures, the golden rule that applies to
Love it.
universally every religion: treat others the way you want to be treated.
That's the golden rule, yes.
And how can you apply it to your business? Build your business the way you wished existed when you were starting just a few steps ago. That's scriptures right there.
Yeah, I like the way you put that.
Mhm.
I like it because I find a lot of businesses lack integrity. I hired a VA for my first summit last time, and all she was interested in the money. once I paid her, the service, it wasn't good at all. And you can see that she only wanted to be paid. She didn't want to help me.
Yeah.
And it got me upset. And I
Sad.
would never recommend her and I would never work with her again. So in the end, she's the one who loses.
Yeah.
Because if you treat people like that, they won't recommend you, they won't use you again.
I
Yeah.
have a VA that I've been using since 5 years from India. He does all my timestamps. He's been so good. I'm starting to, I actually did refer him to quite a few of my clients.
It's nice.
So if you guys need someone to do your timestamps when you're ready to go, when you have a podcast, he charges me $20 for 5 videos.
Hmm,
And
cool.
it does them in literally in 1 or 2 days. He's actually a very smart guy. He's studying for his medical school and his dream is to go study medicine in the UK. He's from India. So in a way, supporting him in that way. He has a goal. Very smart guy, beautiful heart. And yeah, so exactly when someone does good work, not just good, but delivers,
Exceptional.
yes. You know, one thing I always say, win-win is no longer enough. And in today's economy and age, you have to make it a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Just like you have to under promise and over deliver, not the other way around.
Yes.
I have,
Mhm,
yeah, I
mhm.
have wasted a lot of money
Oh yes.
because I paid people for nonsense and I
Mhm.
didn't know. I remember when I was struggling with my purpose, I paid this guy to teach me about it. He didn't know either. That is the only conclusion I can arrive at. No, I'm serious. And that is why I studied it with, listen, I became obsessed with it to the point where I can talk about it fluently.
Talk about what?
My heart. Sorry?
Talk about what?
Purpose?
Purpose.
Purpose?
How to
Yeah,
find,
purpose.
how to
Sorry?
discover your purpose.
How purpose?
Yeah, he didn't know what it was either. And I thought, are you joking? Because that's why I bought your program. That word, that is what pulled me out because I was in limbo searching for this, trying to discover
Yeah.
it. And I didn't get it. I just wasted my time. And the funny thing is, I was struggling so much financially, and that man took my money and didn't give me it.
So sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that.
I've been there as well. I
Oh
paid
yes. Oh
somebody a
yes.
monthly fee for setting up a knowledge base, and they
Yes,
didn't know any
yes.
more than I did.
Oh yeah.
Mhm,
Oh yeah. There's a lot of those what do you call it? Imposters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or they
yeah.
just go on YouTube or Google the answer and just sell it to you
It's true.
without any experience. I get those guys messaging me, always claim to be podcast coach, and I ask him, so do you have your own podcast? Nope. I said, thank you very much. That's all I need to know.
So how are they a coach?
They're helping people launch their podcast, whatever, while they don't even have their own podcast.
I think the world and his wife at the moment are selling coaching.
You know,
Everybody's selling coaching, and half the time they don't know what they're coaching.
As
and
I
it-
mentioned, earlier, my background is in e-commerce. I used to live in China, build and sold a business on Amazon. There was a guy, it almost became a meme even before memes were a thing. There was a guy that after selling the first $500,000 on Amazon, they would launch their course. Hey, let me make you show you how to make $1 million. It was becoming almost a meme.
Wow.
So
sad, eh?
it's sad. It's wild. Yes.
Yeah, it's sad.
Well, they're gonna harvest that eventually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That is
The
true.
negative karma from that.
Big time.
It's funny because when I
Okay,
wanted
I have to go. I'm sorry. I
Yes,
have
me
to
too,
take
ladies.
medication.
yeah,
Beautiful.
bye.
See you guys
All right.
tomorrow. And
Yeah,
please,
bye-bye.
Princess, watch day one because day one is the foundation.
Yes, I'm going to do that.
All right. See you guys tomorrow, same
All
time.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank
God
you.
bless. God bless. Cheers. Bye bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.